This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On Sand Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, here we are again with another episode. Thank you, studio audience, of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. We had to do, I think, one of the last two or two of the last four. We had to do a rebroadcast because of various items, but we're back. We're back in the New York groove, as they say. This is a song by the great Al Green, How Great Thou Art. Let's just hear a little bit about that, producer, and then fade it down a little bit because I want to talk about his incredible story. God, I just wish I could sing like that. I mean, who sings like that but incredible people? Display. Then sing my song. There it goes. That's my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Now, what's interesting about Mr. Green, we will play it in its entirety at the end, is he started singing, and of course he did gospel music, but he really became close to God when he had a terrible accident. He became a born-again Christian, and the accident was when a young lady named Mary Woodson attacked him in his bathroom with a pan of boiling hot grits, and then she shot herself. And during his long recovery from his third-degree burns, Green devoted himself to faith healing. He bought a church. He became an active pastor, minister, and Rolling Stone magazine calls him one of the 100th greatest artists of all time. That's incredible. That is incredible. A man of faith, a man of such a beautiful voice, of course, deserves to be one of the 100 greatest artists of all time. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, with a dear friend of mine, Miss Lindsay Burt. Give her a hand, studio audience, Miss Lindsay Burt. And I met Lindsay because she is an artist, a very successful artist. And I met her several years ago. And of course, I fell in love with her work because it's very colorful. And I happen to like colors. It's very colorful. She has this whole thing where she puts like 20 different boards up on the wall and she just goes at it all at one time. And it's a phenomenal thing. And if you want to see something cool, just go look at her Facebook or whatever it is on her website, where you can see the time-lapse version of her painting all these different individual paintings that kind of look like one big, beautiful painting. You can start seeing her there on my feed. And I just want to say, Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gilbert.
So, Lindsay, first of all, you're from my hometown. You're from Corpus Christi?
Yes.
What do you remember about Corpus?
Oh, it's just a beautiful place with that beautiful bridge. You know,
Yep.
You can see the whole port and the sea. I mean, it's called the Sparkling City by the Sea for a reason.
And it's because the sea is beautiful. It's beautiful. And so tell us about your journey in life. So you grew up in Corpus, and then where did you go to school?
I went to school at Texas State University and studied design.
And studied design. When you study design, what does that really mean for the layperson like me? Is that like art? Or is that like drafting, like architecture?
It's somewhere in the middle. So we did have some art classes, but then the focus was really kind of an advertising type of, medium. So we were using our creativity to make things colorful, but for business cards and flyers and websites, and
Interesting.
you could go on and on. Yeah.
And so you did that, you graduated, and then you started working sort of in the marketing area of an oil and gas company. Is that right?
Yes.
And so did you enjoy that?
Yes, I did.
So what was the turning point that then led from you being this person in an oil and gas company to now this extraordinary artist that is free flowing and the beautiful work that comes through your hands? What was a catalyst for you?
Well, thank you. And the catalyst was in 2015. I had a bicycle accident. I hit my head really hard. My arm was completely hanging off, and they put me back together. But then I realized that the brain injury was going to take quite a bit of time to recover from.
Wow. Do you know the show, The $6 Million Man?
No, I don't.
Well, it's about a guy, I forgot what accident he had. And in the beginning it says we can rebuild him. We can make him better than he was. And they put like an electronic eye and they put all these parts in him. And I don't know, maybe that's what happened to your arm. But hold on a second. So let's go back. You had a bad accident. What does that mean, a bad accident? So you're on a bike, and were you like a real biker then? Like you had like a helmet and everything, and you're going fast?
Yes.
And so like how fast were you going, do you think?
It was about 25 miles per hour.
25 miles an hour. That is fast.
Yes.
Especially when you like have nothing to protect you.
Exactly.
So were you with a group of cyclists?
I was.
Like 10 people?
About 40 or 50.
40 or 50?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's like a whole mob.
Yeah.
A mob of bikes. So y'all were there 40 or 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
Well, they called the ambulance.
But no, what?
Oh.
You hit a bump? A
Yes.
car came or what?
Yes, I hit a bump or a crack in the road, and then I closed my eyes and screamed, and then before I knew it, my face was sliding on the pavement. When I came to, my face was on the road, and it was just horrifying. But the thing I was worried about were my teeth. I didn't realize my arm was going to be completely almost off, and but yeah, so they called the ambulance and got whisked away to the hospital. Went into surgery almost immediately. And then when I woke up from surgery, there was just this gorgeous vision. I don't know if it was, what they had me on but it was amazing. It was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I just said to myself, I have to capture that. I have to share it. I've got to get it out there to the world.
I think it was God.
Exactly.
Saying that you're going to be all right.
Yes.
I have lots of guests who've had a inspiring moment or a religious happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think that was.
Exactly.
Now, did you lose any teeth?
I didn't.
Wow, no wonder. Well, you have great teeth. So let's see your arm. Is there anything? Look, I don't know if we can zoom in on that, but the scar goes from here to here. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty long.
Yeah.
So what happened? You woke up, you had bits of face on the street over there, and then you just said, holy cow, my arm is just, did you lose feeling?
I did. Eventually I realized it was hanging off, and then,
when you say hanging off, was it like a 90-degree angle?
Yes.
It was like, if this is my arm,
yeah.
Hopefully y'all can see me on social media. If you can't, I got my arm in the air, and like right here was just like just wounded here, just like folded over.
Yeah, just folded over.
Oh my God. Did you have to say, like, get your other arm to say, let me hold this arm?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it doesn't come off.
Right.
Come on.
It was something. It was wild.
And did all your bike friends say, oh gosh, now she ruined our whole bike ride, or did they say, okay, the ambulance stays off. Okay, let's get back to biking.
Yeah.
Tell us about the bike culture and what happened to them.
They just sent me a lot of messages afterwards and said, do you need anything, and are you okay? And, can we come visit you in the hospital? So that was really nice.
How long were you in the hospital?
Just a couple of days. They said, you need to go home and heal because, this is going to be very intense for you. You need to, rest at home for a long time. So,
well, these days hospitals are like in and out. You're in and out. So if you got to be overnight at a hospital, it's because there's a reason, right? Because the hospitals are like in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. So were you scared?
Oh, yeah. And that is, I'll tell you, I wasn't very strong in my faith at the time, but I became strong in that moment. It was a turning point for that, for sure.
I believe it. When you see, I don't know the right word, but when you see trauma or you see events, that's a scary thing. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that moment you saw I'm just going to say you saw something supernatural, but I think it was God touching you.
Mm-hmm.
What did it look like? I mean, what did it feel like? Did you have this extraordinary feeling of just, I don't know, just like you're floating, tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a feeling of peacefulness for sure. I mean, just there was like nothing, it was almost like nothingness, but at the same time, it was just pure white light. And it was like being inside of a chandelier or a crystal, or, something real shiny and real beautiful. Oh, it was amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you look back at that and say, how do I get back to that place? Or do you look back at it and say, boy, I don't want to get back to that place because that means something's wrong?
A little of both.
Right? I mean,
but that's what, the art came in and helped to express it, and like, okay, let's take it and put it somewhere where people can look at it too.
Well, before we go to the art piece, I want to go to the art piece.
Yes.
So did they put like a pin in your arm?
They did. There was 2 plates and 2 pins.
Do you still have them in?
Yes.
So when you go to the airport and you're going through, do you like set off the alarm and everybody's like, what is going on with that lady? And they're like, it's just my arm.
They told me that these days that they've made it to where it doesn't set off airport detectors anymore.
Oh, but if you were to go to the magnetic thing, they'd look and they'd say, oh, well, she's got a bunch of pins in her arm.
Yeah.
Something must have happened.
Yes.
Wow. Well, then, so you recovered over how long? Because you said you had head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that's a concussion.
Yes, it was about 3 months for that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And during the course of those 3 months, were you like, I don't know the right word, losing memory?
Yes.
Were you having blackouts? Or what was it like to have such an incredible head trauma event?
It was very difficult to be on a screen of any kind. So it was like a few months with no screens or very minimal.
Because it was like hurting the whatever is in the screen hurts your eye and connects with the brain, and that's what you mean?
Exactly.
Wow.
And then a lot of forgetting words and having to kind of, look things up, and it still happens sometimes, actually.
Does it?
But it's, it got a lot better after a few months. So.
And so you had that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and you were out 3 months.
Yes.
Did you go back to work after that?
I did.
And when did you have the, I don't know the right word. I don't have big word vocabulary here, but when did you have your epiphany that said, you know what? I'm going to pitch all this oil and gas and I'm going to be an artist and I'm going to let the Lord take me where it takes me. And I hope I can make a living at it, but I'm going to go for it because it's what I love and enjoy.
Well, the art had started to be put out on social media. And so people were kind of seeing it. The word was getting around, and the commission started to come in. And so at that point, it was time to reevaluate, okay, paint for a living, and kind of go spread this out in the world, and it just it was a natural transition at that point.
Wow. Stay with me. We have a caller already. I think that might be our very own Daisy. Miss Daisy, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Where are you right now, Miss Daisy?
I am at the George Bush International Airport, Terminal E.
Are you going somewhere? Where are you going?
I am here picking up the Speaker of the House. He's coming to celebrate with you today.
Wow. And we're celebrating Houston, and I'll talk more about it in a minute. Remember there was that song. Everybody remember that movie, Network? Remember that movie Network? And the guy, just said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Well, it's a very famous line, Daisy. And I don't know if I'm that guy or not, but at the end of the day, I just look at the city and I just think we can do better.
Absolutely.
I saw, the FBI or the DA or one of them or both of them raid the housing department. They raided the health department, all these sorts of things. We haven't had a contract with the firefighters. You name it. The school district was taken over by the state. It's like, what is happening? And so I am now announcing to run for mayor tonight. I know.
Congratulations, Gilbert.
I know. And, thank goodness for my wife and kids who support me and my firm and friends that support me. And I'm going to be there at a place called Toke, which is an event center. And it's at 2025 Post Oak Boulevard at 6 p.m. We're going to have some mariachis play around 6:15. And then we'll start having the program right around close to 7 o'clock. We're also celebrating, although my birthday was about 2.5-3 weeks ago, my birthday, I turned 60.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Gilbert.
Well, thank you. And
happy birthday.
Let me tell you, there's something funny about turning 60. First, I turned 60. And I don't know, when I was growing up, 60 sounded like so old. Like right now, Lindsay, because you're young, doesn't 60 sound kind of like 60?
No, because my parents are a little older.
Yeah, but 60 sounds like you can't even imagine you turning 60, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's how I used to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it just snuck up on me, and here I am 60. And what is the miracle or mystery of life is, when am I supposed to feel 60? I don't feel 60.
That is amazing.
I feel the same. I like the same foods. I still eat snow cones. I still love to eat Mexican food. I still love, going to horror movies. I still enjoy the same things. So I don't know. That's the mystery of life. When is it going to hit me that I'm 60 and you got to you can't do those things anymore? It's a very, very interesting thing, turning 60. But I am so proud that the Speaker of the House of El Salvador has elected to share this moment with me and my family here in Houston, Texas. That's pretty amazing.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, he has a big family here. There's more than 600,000 Salvadorians just in Harris County. So he comes here, and he just arrived. And he's ready to celebrate with you at 6 p.m. today.
I cannot wait. And Carmen, I just saw you shoot a nice email across my Facebook there. Thank you for that nice email. And I see you. Thank you, Miss Carmen. That's so nice of you. It's going to be a good time. So, Daisy, is there anything you wanted to say?
Well, I want to invite everybody to register and come out and vote. We do need a big change in the city, Gilbert, and I thank you so much for running. We're going to keep you in our prayers, and anything that we can do to support you. We do need changes in the city, and we'll see you tonight at 6 p.m.
Daisy, thank you very much for calling in. And no matter who you support, Houston, at the end of the day, support somebody. Get involved. This is your home. This is your great city. Get involved. And like my mom always said, if you don't vote, don't complain. So please register to vote. Get out there, get engaged, learn the issues, and that way you can have a voice in this incredible city and its future. Thank you so much, Daisy, for calling in.
Gilbert, I want to say hello to my friend Lindsay. I want to say thank you to her. She has an amazing class, Healing for Colors, and my daughter has been enjoying the class. I'm so grateful for her.
Daisy, you went out on me a little bit. Can you still hear me, Daisy?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Tell me this. We're going to go to her. We haven't gotten to her new venture yet, but we're going to talk about it in a moment. But since you brought it up, what does your daughter love about it the most?
Well, she enjoyed the class. Lindsay is very patient, and she's sharing her knowledge with the young kids. They are somehow under a lot of stress, mental health issues. And I think that that's a great thing that she's doing. And I'm here to support her in any way I can. And I just so grateful for her putting together that class.
What a beautiful thing. And you can see some of the pictures there. Those of you who are on Facebook with the kids, we're going to talk all about it momentarily. Thank you so much, Daisy, for calling in.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. We'll see you later.
Thank you,
yes,
Daisy.
ma'am. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
So Daisy. So Lindsay, let's go back. So you started on the internet. People would say, hey, I like that.
Yes.
You started selling them.
Yes.
And then people start saying, hey, I'd like to hire you to do a picture of this.
Yes.
And it just spread.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing.
Amazing.
Were you surprised?
Oh, yes. Very.
Did you think to yourself, God, I never thought anybody would want to buy my creation or my imagination. How does that feel?
Oh, my word. I mean, it's been the most rewarding. I mean, it's just indescribable. So for people to trust, their vision and trust it to me and have it come to life. I mean, that process there's nothing like it.
Well, I will disclose to everyone that, so I met Lindsay and you can't help but to love you immediately, right? You just can't help it. And I remember when I brought you to my house, my wife and I have this like elevator shaft thing. And I said, and I happen to love aquariums and fish. I love to scuba dive and all those things. And I asked Lindsay to come up with a creation. And I mean, It is the most extraordinary thing. It's as if you're going down into the aquarium. That's the feeling I wanted, and that's the feeling you gave me. Hold that thought. Ruben, are you on the line?
Yes, sir, I am.
Ruben, what do you got for me? A tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer with Miss Lindsay Burke, artist. Do you say artiste or artist?
Artist.
Well, I'll say artiste because then I sound like, I don't know, I'm French or something. Artiste extraordinaire. What do you got there, Ruben?
Well, I was just calling in to say congratulations on your announcement for your mayoral campaign.
Oh, well, thank you, my friend.
Obviously, I'm excited to attend the event later today. I'm interested to hear just the plans and just the basic rundown for what's going to be going on later today.
Well, I really appreciate it. So are you going to make it?
Yes, sir, I will be making it.
Great. Well, bring your friends.
Right.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. It's one of those moments in life that you kind of never thought it was ever going to happen, or I never thought it was ever going to happen. But then on the other side, some people say, well, Gilbert, you've really been preparing your whole life for this. So it's kind of a strange feeling, a strange, beautiful thing. I've never run before I ran for student body president in high school, and I was elected that. I ran for a trustee on the Dallas Fire and Police Pension Board, and I got that. But I've never really run for political office. So it'll be my first time. And I'm not saying anything negative about any of the other candidates because I admire people who do public service. But, when you get people who've been involved 40, 50 years in public service, I think they get a little removed from the people and the everyday issues. And I'm the only one that is a small business owner. I know what it's like to wonder and worry. How am I going to meet payroll? Like you, as an entrepreneur yourself, how am I going to be able to pay the bills if people don't buy my art? Mm-hmm. I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. And so do you. And I think it brings a lot of character. I see Jess just wrote something nice on the internet. Thank you, Jess, for those kind words. So, Ruben, we'll see you tonight, and I appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir. We're all rooting for you.
Thank you, my friend. So let's go back. So people are buying it. You did my great elevator shaft. And are your parents surprised?
Yes. They
are. When you first said, Mom, Dad, I think I'm going to be an artist. Did they say, oh, no?
They did. That's exactly how they acted.
Did they say, oh, no? Did your dad say, all right, honey, what's your mom's name?
Sharon.
Did he say, okay, Sharon, get ready. Lindsay's going to be moving in soon. I mean, did he say that?
More or less.
Yeah, right.
But, they really have been supportive. I kind of joke with them, but they've been so supportive. And, it helped to kind of get a few, there was an award that I got a few years ago and just some things that have happened that they say, okay, we trust you.
Yeah. Well, the thing every parent wants, and everyone listening in Houston, if you're a parent, you can agree with me or not agree with me, but if you agree with me, call into the show, 832-570-8075. Don't call in while you're driving. They'll pull over, 832-570-8075. But I think every parent's dream is for their child to be happy.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there's some element of, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a lawyer, but not really. It's really about, I want my kid to grow up and to be healthy and to be happy and to have along the way of their journey of their life, a better chance than I had. I think every parent just feels that. Mm-hmm. And I bet your parents do too. And I think they thought, because they probably aren't as familiar with art, and that's why they thought, well, I wonder how that will go. And here it is, a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
So tell us then about your recent effort here. And it's called, Colors for Healing.
Yes.
First of all, I love that name.
Thank you.
Because when you think of young people and you think of people who, whether they're I'm gonna use a phrase. I don't know if this is a good phrase or not, but whether they're in a rut, mm-hmm. whether they are, a little lost, a little confused, whether they have challenges, learning anything, but just, and all kids go through these moments. They just do. Mm-hmm. The whole concept of using art to heal mm-hmm. is a beautiful thing. Yeah. How did you come up with that?
Well, between my bicycle accident, brain injury, and then my husband had a brain injury. He's a veteran. And so he had gone through that. And
pause there for a second, because I want to hear about his story.
Yes.
Right after this. David, are you there?
I'm here with Millie.
Yes, hello.
David, what do you got for us here? And Millie, what do you got for us here on a tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer?
Okay, hey Gilbert, we both want to say that you are indeed an inspiration, and we congratulate you on all the work that you do for the community. And also, we wanted to thank you personally and on air for your support of the projects, LULAC projects that you have supported, endorsed, and sponsored, especially the project dealing with our Latino and our LULAC history. We are making significant progress with our archives and in collaborating with Arteplublico Press, University of Houston, and the Houston Public Library and LULAC. And we just wanted to get that shout, give you a shout out for that.
Well, David and Millie, thank you for that. So just for the listeners, so LULAC is the League of United Latin American Citizens. Think of it kind of like the Latino version of the NAACP, where it was all about Latino empowerment, civil rights, all of those things. And LULAC started when again, David? Probably in the early 20s. Does that sound about right?
You're correct. It started in 1929.
1929. And it really is meant to be almost like a civil rights organization. And with time, it grew into other things like healthcare, education, and the like. Am I correct?
You are correct. It started off with civil rights issues, allowing, which was predominantly Latinos, which was predominantly Mexican American folks, to have the right to go to facilities like theaters and restaurants and things like that. Then it expanded to education, housing, and health, and so forth.
And LULAC has worked with many great groups like the NAACP, the Urban League, and others over decades, because we really share a common theme and a common desire for everyone to have a chance at the American dream. Well, let me ask you this, David. I'm sure when you talk about the archives, there is extraordinary history when LULAC, just like the NAACP and others, were going through the early struggles of the civil rights movement and the early struggles of being the recipient of violence and things of that nature. We've got to preserve that history, David, because unless you know where you've been, you don't really know where you're going. And that's why I think it's vital to preserve this history. Wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And you know what a lot of people do not know is that Houston was the mecca, the center, epicenter for the Mexican American civil rights movement from about 1945 to 1963. And yes, we have got some incredible history, incredible archives. And now it's just a matter of making people aware that these archives exist and getting them into the devices of educators and students so that they can know our history. This is American history.
It really is. And it's about preserving it so we don't lose it. Well, let me ask you this. Are you the LULAC historian?
Yes, I am. I was just made the national historian for LULAC, and my wife and I are both the coordinators for the National Archives.
Fantastic. Well, Millie, I know you're there too. Thank you for all the work that you do, both of y'all do. And how can people get involved? Is there a website or something?
Yes, there is a website. You can actually access these archives through the Houston Public Library. I'm currently working with City Hall to try to make that easier to access, because it is a very difficult process. Most people don't even know that these archives exist. There were some recent changes that made it more difficult to access these archives. Prior to April, it was very easy because our Hispanic icon was on the landing page. That has changed in April, and we're working to get that to where it used to be. But you can go to the Houston Public Library, look under search, and look for Hispanic Latino collection. Another significant site would be just go to mas-latino.com and and you can find all kinds of wonderful history about not only LULAC, but about our Latino history.
Well, that is fantastic. I don't know all the ins and outs of what you just said, but I know one thing. We should be making it easier to access, not harder. So whatever was on that landing page that was making it easier, my goodness, common sense says put it back, because we need to make it easier, not harder.
That's what we're working on.
Millie, I thank you. I'm hugging you all in cyberspace right now. I don't know if you can see me, but everyone in the cyber world sees me right now hugging y'all. Well, thank you for calling, and thank you for being part of the show.
No
Okay.
problem.
Thank you, sir.
We're glad
Amen.
to have
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, David. Do I have another caller there? I think we do. Or not. Or not. Hold on, Houston. I thought we had another call. Yes, we do. Is Muhammad there? Is there a Muhammad on the phone?
Yes, there is.
Is this Mr. Muhammad? Acres
Yes,
Home?
sir.
How are you
Yes, sir.
doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How you doing, my friend Gilbert?
Good. I'm not abandoning you. I've just been, because, I'm announcing tonight. And so I've just been tonight. So I've just been caught up. But since you're on, tell us what's going on at Acres Home for Juneteenth. Tell us everything about the parade, everything else you got.
Okay, well, the parade is on June the 17th, and we're going to be in the parade, which is starts on West Montgomery and Acres Home. But what I'm really excited about is on Monday, June 19th, Juneteenth, we're having the 3rd annual Acres Home Cultural Arts Festival. And I wanted to invite all your listeners and community and our brothers and sisters from the Latino community, please come out, enjoy yourself. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have a big bingo hall. And we're going to have live entertainment with bands and music and poetry. It's going to be a wonderful day, free to the public. It's not going to cost a dime.
Amen.
Free to the public.
Well, you've been doing so many good things there at Acres Home. And give us that address again so people all know where to go.
It's 6112 Wheatley, Wheatley, Wheatley Street.
Yeah, and they have and the grounds are great. You'll have a banquet facility that I've been in, and you have your speaker series every month. I think you're doing a lot of good for the community, and I salute you, as they say. And tell us a little bit about what Juneteenth means to you.
Oh, it was a holiday for us in the Black community long before it became a national holiday. That's the date that the news of the emancipation of the slave reached the slaves in Texas. And I think it was a couple of years late reaching in Texas. Not that the slaveholders didn't know, but they didn't want to tell us. Eventually a general showed up in Galveston and announced that the slaves had been emancipated. And that was on the 19th of June. So that's been a celebration for the Black community ever since. And when I was a child, they would always have picnics and Little League All-Star game, baseball games at the park, and people would come after work, or many would take off work on their own and just have our own holiday. So we're pleased that now it's become recognized throughout the country, and it is a federal holiday. That's a national holiday. Well,
I saw the most incredible movie, and it's uplifting, but it's disturbing, but it's uplifting, and that is Emancipation with Will Smith.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen that movie, but it is phenomenal. And it's about the slaves and how the rumor would spread through that, hey, President Lincoln freed us. And they were trying to run from, I forgot what city, to go to Baton Rouge, where it was under Union control so they could be free. And they were going through the swamps and they were going after them. I mean, it's an incredible movie. And it's shot in black and white to be extra dramatic, and boy, it is very, very dramatic. And imagine the slaves when they were free, but yet they didn't know, or they weren't told, and they probably were in bondage. I don't know if that's the right word, for another year and a half, 2 years.
Right, exactly. And that's a gripping movie. And I share with people, and I want our Latino family to know that we recognize we have a shared history in this country. And I tell people all the time, part of the reason that the Anglos revolted against Mexico was because they wanted to bring their slaves into Mexican territory, and Mexico had outlawed slavery.
That is history that's not well known, but I'm glad you brought it up, because Mexico became free way before we did. Very, very interesting history. Well, what else can you tell us? So we're going to be ready. You're going to have food. You're going to have music. You're going to have a parade. It sounds like a don't miss type of time. Oh, by the way, I'm showing right now on my social media the emancipation, and I don't know if it's exactly about a particular slave, but there's a particular slave that they accredit it to, And in the movie, he gets, of course, brutally beaten so many times, and you can see his back and the scars. The real picture of him here on the internet. I mean, it's really a very important movie. The type of movie, you know what, they should show in the schools.
Yeah. Well, you know, the schools are trying to take all of that out of the schools.
Yeah. I mean, we need to know the history. That way, history does not repeat itself.
Right.
Well, I so appreciate it. Let's be in touch, and we'll talk after my announcement tonight. Hopefully, I'll see you there, but if not, don't worry. And hopefully, we'll get a very successful Juneteenth for Acres Home.
Okay, it's from 2 to 8. The gates open at 2.
2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Right.
2 p.m. to 8 p.m. You heard it here first.
Okay, and I'm going to try to swing by this evening.
Oh, it'd be great to give you a hug.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend. So,
thanks, Gilbert.
Yes, sir. So let's go back, Lindsay. Tell us about your husband. So he's a veteran. And what was his head trauma?
He was jumping out of a plane, and he had done that. I mean, he's had 70 jumps. And
70 jumps?
Yes.
For service?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And he did 5 deployments, but on that particular jump, he had a head injury.
He did 5 deployments to where?
I have to remember. 3 of them were in Africa. I believe 2 in Congo, and I think Nigeria. I have to.
Wow, that's okay.
And
well,
then
you know
one
what?
in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. So.
God, we salute him.
Thank you.
For his service.
Yes, I'll tell him.
Please.
I think he's watching.
Is he watching?
Yes.
Oh my God! Tell him to call in to say, "Honey, you know you're looking great, honey." Call. What's his name?
Brandon.
Brandon, call in 832-570-8075. Come on, Brandon. Come tell your lovely bride that you know she's doing great. But no, what an incredible story. So he had a head injury.
Yes, and he really struggled. I mean, as everyone who has most people who have a head injury, it's a struggle. And he found help. He got through it, and then he helped other veterans in in programs, and even helped write programs to help veterans. And so, when I heard about that, and we kind of talked a lot about it, and decided let's go out and bring art and wellness, the experience that he has, and put it together and bring it to the people.
And did he like land on his head or hit a tree or?
It was the side of the airplane.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how hard that must have been?
Yeah.
Because think about it, the plane's going, I don't know what a plane goes. Let's say it's going 300 miles an hour and you're going with the wind and the body fall. I mean, can you imagine that hit?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God he's alive.
Yes.
He's a miracle too.
Yes.
Oh my God, y'all are both miracles. No wonder you got married.
Yeah.
So go back. When did y'all get married?
It's been 2 months.
How no wonder you got that, like, what do they call it? Honeymooner glow. No wonder. So let's go back to Colors for Healing. Who came up with the idea?
We both did. I mean, we just talked about it, and he said, I feel like the Lord put it on my heart, and it's something that you'd kind of mentioned, and we both just, bounced it back and forth.
And it's a nonprofit. It's an official 501c3.
Yes.
So what is its, I don't know the right word, mission? What if someone said, what is Colors for Healing doing? What do you say?
The mission is to bring peacefulness to people through creativity. And, we want to focus on veterans, children who are either sick or need help, and then adults who have things like Alzheimer's or other mental things. But really, we've been bringing it to everyone, because everyone can use a little bit of extra peace.
I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So when you go, do you have a facility or how are you, or you go somewhere?
We've been using a few community centers, and the next one is on June 27th as part of a Pride event. It's at the Bayland Community Center, so we'll be there. And we've just been using a studio in the Woodlands, and then a community center in East Tex, Jensen area. So. And
when you do, like, how many people or students are in a session or class?
We usually have about 5 to 10 right now, and we are always looking for more people.
Yep.
So
I think it's great. And do you say to them, what do I know about art? But here's a vase of roses, paint this. Or do you say, how are you feeling? And what color expresses your feeling? I mean, what's it like?
Our process is pretty, we'll have a series of questions, and it's different every time, but it's usually something like, what's a favorite memory? And then what does that remind you of? And what does that, and we kind of dig it down into, try to get to a subconscious feeling, and then express that through the colors, through the art. And really just the relaxation of, making the painting itself is part of it as well.
And I bet you these people have never painted anything.
A lot of people haven't.
I mean, I've never painted anything.
Right.
I bet you people have never painted anything.
Right.
And they're probably, for someone like me, this is going to sound like a weird word. I think I'd be intimidated to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, like you paint so beautifully. And, mine's going to be like a real, like, warped vase. And, I mean, I just think that I would be intimidated.
Well, that's what's
none of my colors are going to match, and I'm going to be outside the lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's so fun is we love showing people that anyone can do it, that it's really accessible, and all we have to do is start. We've all got to start somewhere, because I didn't start till I was 30. I mean, I had almost never tried. I mean,
really?
Yeah, and you do the little things when you're a kid,
Yeah.
But most people abandon it as soon as they hit a certain age.
But then again, maybe there's something about, like that guy, what is it, Salvador Dali, where he's got the clock that looks all warped.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you think of a clock needs to be a circle, but no, his clock is all warped out, right?
Right.
And so maybe that's the whole point.
Right.
Well, you know what? I think it's cool. I'd like to do it.
Thank you.
I want to do it.
We love that.
I don't know. I got to get up the courage, but I'm going to do it. I want to do it.
Okay.
So the next one is when?
The next event that we have planned is, we've kind of taken a summer sabbatical, but
Right.
we're still doing some events. So June 27th at the Bayland Community Center, and it's part of a Pride event that they've got going on. So we're going to just be there and have our supplies out, have our table, have space for people to come paint with us and do a short exercise, a shortened version of our class.
How great.
Thanks.
And so do you see yourself doing this? I don't know. Once a month? Is your goal once a month? I mean, what's the goal here?
So what we were doing in the spring was twice a week. And
Twice a week?
Yes. So yeah, we really
That's a lot.
Yeah, we want to keep it going. So we're just, and right now we're starting to go out to nursing homes. That's our next venture. And so we probably will be doing that at least twice a week for, as soon as we kind of get that scheduled.
I bet nursing homes would love it.
They do.
They'd love it.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness.
Yes.
And I'm going to go from painting, and then I'm going to do, like, remember the movie Ghost?
Yes.
I want to do the pottery
Yes.
thing. I mean,
Yes.
I want to get that the wheel going, and I just want to get my hands dirty,
Yes.
and I just want it to, and I hope it doesn't just flop out. I mean, that's I want to do that.
But it's so therapeutic. I mean, it's so healing. I mean, that's what we want to encourage people to, really explore these things, because they really do work. They really make a difference.
Wow. And so tell us that website again.
Okay, it's colorsforhealing.org.
And does it cost money, or what for a student?
The classes that we've been doing for the community have been free. We're running on donations from the community, which
I'm going to give you a donation. So,
Thank you.
But keep going.
Yeah, and thank you for the one that was given. And we just are really excited to, bring this out to people, as many people as possible.
I think something like, the Chronicle should write about it.
Wow.
Have you ever talked to them? I'm going to talk to them because,
Okay.
in this day and age, and the reason I started this show is I just kept getting frustrated that every time I turn on the TV or listen to the radio, it's about another killing or another kid doing something wrong. And I'm just like, you know what? There are a lot of good kids around, and there's a lot of good people around, and you just don't get the stories about them,
Right.
because the media is so fixated on the negativity. So I started this show because I wanted to have a vehicle for people like you to be able to say positive things, good things that are different things, and have an element of spirituality to it. And I think it's been a success, and I've enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We have an Ernie on the line. Is that Ernie? Ernie?
Yes.
Ernie,
Good
what do you
morning,
got?
everyone. How are y'all?
We're doing great.
Great.
I'm learning about art.
I just love everything she has been speaking about. Lindsay, you're so talented and so creative.
Thank you.
Isn't she? And she just exudes that happiness, and that's why it comes out in her work.
Yes.
I wanted to remind everyone that, the Children's Museum is a great venue for this type of communication. And as I want to encourage Lindsay, we're going to try to see if maybe we can get something going there on a weekend with the kids. And the Children's Museum would really relish the idea of having someone so talented as you to work with the kids. This would be a great fit for you. And, Gilbert sits on the board for the Children's Museum. So I think we can make something happen.
I think that's a great idea. You know, the Children's Museum, I got on the board because I have gone through 4 kids through that museum.
Mhm.
And it's just a place when a child walks in there, they're on like overdrive, sensory overload, because there's so many things going on. There's so many exhibits. And it's such a learning moment because they don't just put these exhibits together. They have these incredible scientists and doctors and professionals and therapists that come together and come up with these exhibits to really stimulate young minds. And so everything is perfectly planned out.
Mhm.
And you don't see that until you're there and you realize, wow, this is incredible. So that is why I got involved with the museum, because I want others to have the same thing that my kids had. Thank you, Ernie. So Ernie, where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm actually getting ready for a wonderful event today. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be at the Toke, and it's going to be in celebration of Gilbert Garcia and his 60th birthday, and more importantly, an opportunity to meet our next mayor of the city of Houston.
Amen.
Oh my God. Well, you know, now I have to confess that I teed you up. That's why I said that, because I just wanted to hear you say it. It's going to be a Toke. It's going to be great. I've got one of my partners, Ruby Dang's going to speak. I've got Jacqueline Iloff's going to lead us in prayer. I've got Pastor Lotta's going to pray for us. I've got my good friend from college and from Corpus, Glenn Capello, flew all the way in from New York, actually from Connecticut, to be able to participate. I've got the great state rep, Christina Morales, who's going to speak. I've got Theldon Branch, our port commissioner, is going to speak. And then, of course, the star of the show is really my wife. And my wife is going to speak. And hopefully she'll say something good about me. And we're going to play some of the videos and things, and it's going to be a blast. And so it's a combination of sort of celebrating my birthday as well as announcing for mayor. And I'm going to reveal my first 100 days, what I would do. And I hope everyone in Houston says to the candidates, you know what are you going to do? And you know what? Hold them to it. The best way to hold them to it is make them sign it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sign mine. And they're all about transparency and openness and good government, because I want Houston to be part of the same breath of all the great cities in the world, not just Texas, but in the world. Come on, we are Houston. Think about the people who built the port inland 50 miles. Think about the people who built the most incredible medical center in the world. We've got to get that can-do back and make Houston one of the great cities in the same breath of New York, Paris, London, all these, Madrid, all these great cities. That's where we need to be. So you heard it here first. So Ernie, thank you for calling in. Anything else you want to let us know, Ernie?
No, I just want everyone to remember that leadership is the key to success. And I feel that the leadership that you have displayed, Gilbert, and also the leadership that Lindsay has displayed in the art world is really going to make a difference. So thank you all for being such great leaders.
Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you for calling. You know, the thing about you, Lindsay, is, you are so sweet and warm, but you got to have a lot of fight in you, because you really are the epitome of an entrepreneur.
Thank you.
So that means you got a lot of fight in you.
Yes.
To take the risk of, I am going to turn back on this life and I'm going to chase the dream and I'm going to trace what I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
That takes courage.
Thank you.
And a lot of people go through life and they know there's something that they want to do or try, but they're just afraid.
Mm-hmm.
They're just afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And my view is, you're on this planet one time.
Mm-hmm.
You want no regrets. So young people listening out there, have no regrets. Try things, try different foods, try traveling, read books, do well in school. That'll create opportunities for you. And, of course, obey your parents.
Mm-hmm.
But all those things, take chances, explore different things. if college is not for you, then explore a trade. There's so many great trades out there. And we've had Paul Puente to talk about trades and what an incredible living that is. And some families have had trades brought down through generation to generation. And so there's so many things to do in this great world. Go for it. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
And isn't that your way you're approaching this? You're going for it.
Exactly. And then trust in God. I mean, that's the
That's right.
biggest thing.
You know, that's a good one because, you know, God woke us up today.
Amen.
He didn't have to do that.
Exactly.
And that is why we give him the praise and the honor, because every day is a new day and it's not guaranteed. And when I look around at the faces of people on the street and the smiles they have, if you look at the beautiful trees and you hear the birds flying above, you know there's a God.
Amen.
Because it doesn't just happen.
Right.
I was at Surfside Beach and I saw the most incredible thing. There must have been I don't know if the right word is school, maybe it's flock of pelicans in perfect V formation, like 40 of them.
Wow.
And they just went through and it was glorious because they weren't even really flapping their wings.
Wow.
They were just gliding in perfect V formation. And I just looked at that and I stared at it and I thought, what is going through their minds? How beautiful to be able to just be that free.
Right.
And that is one of the things God has blessed me with, to have that moment to see it.
Amen.
And to reflect on the freedom that represents. There are little miracles of God all around us. And sometimes it's kind of like you're looking here and it's right here and you just got to turn and there it is.
Yes.
There are little miracles everywhere. And you are a miracle. And so is your husband.
Thank you.
When you think about what y'all been through and where you are now and how you're trying to give back, I salute you.
Thank you.
So where do you think this is going to go? You want to do it, you want to build it, you want to make it bigger. And how do you get your art out and about so people can experience it more? I mean, you know, we want you to be successful. I don't know who our successful artists are right now, but we want you to be a successful artist and to do well. So how can we help you? How can we spread the word? How can we let people know? Do you have your personal website where your stuff's for sale?
Yes.
And what's that?
The personal website is artsoelectric.com.
artsoelectric.com.
Yes. And we are hosting a fundraiser this year.
Oh, when?
It'll be probably in November of this year.
But that's for the Colors for Healing.
Yes.
Okay, so just to be a distinction of that's for Colors for Healing versus your website is for you to sell your work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And your work, like, is it like, well, I know a little bit, but how big are the projects? How little are they? And do you just have a big art studio at home where you've got all these paintings everywhere? I mean, I just had this vision of you, like, you know, like what was the movie on Pollock and what was his name again? The one with Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours.
Oh gosh, I don't.
Nick Nolte.
Oh.
And there he is, and he's just like going mad, throwing paint everywhere, and all of a sudden it's this incredible thing.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like, or tell us?
More or less, yes.
I mean, do you look at a piece of paper or canvas, and you say, all right, here, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Or do you just go and you just throw stuff at it?
Yeah, I like to, it's a combination. Sometimes it's throwing the stuff and seeing what, like.
Well, I'm looking at that right now. Hold on. What is that? Go back down. Now, like, who is that person? That looks like a real person.
That's Brene Brown. And so it was a tribute to her, just to honor her and say thanks to all she does for the world, for Houston. And she has this quote that says, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside it and hustle for your worthiness. And then I painted that because that's exactly how I felt. I said, I better either paint this and, step in my story, or look out, at other people doing it. And, so I said, let me go for it.
That almost looks like a photograph.
Thank you.
I mean, it looks fantastic.
Thanks.
And it's big.
Yes.
That's a big canvas.
Yes.
What is the size of a canvas like that?
That one is on a wall. So it was probably about 5 feet wide by about.
Oh, that's an actual painting. And by the way, Houston, we're looking at it on a website, this incredible picture of just a lovely lady that is actually on a wall.
Yes.
Is that like your wall?
Yes, that was a wall that I had at the time.
Does that mean you no longer have that wall?
I don't.
Come on. What happened to that painting?
So it got painted over.
What?
No, when I paint things, I know that they're very temporary, and I'm just happy to do them. It's okay for me.
But that's like a work of art.
Yeah, there's
It's
a lot of
beautiful. Does that mean just somebody went over there and like, here's white, and I'm gonna, and here,
Yes.
I mean, come on. You cannot paint over that.
It's already done.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's go back. So do you know what you're going to do? Thank you, Carmen. Carmen thinks it's beautiful.
Thank you, Carmen.
Did you know what it was going to be before you started?
Yes.
So you have in your mind, I'm going to paint, I'm making it up, a flower or a bird. And then you're like, all right, so what canvas does that look like? Oh, it's a 6x6 or a 12x12 or a 3 feet by 4 feet. And then you just do it.
Yes. And, and sometimes it is a matter of throwing the paint and seeing what speaks to me and like, oh, that looks like a bird, or, oh, that looks like a flower. And it kind of develops itself.
So you're not doing anything like, here's a flower and I'm painting the flower. You're looking at the flower.
Once in a while, I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very good. I'm just giving the 4-minute warning. I want to hear the Al Green song in its entirety. Before we do that, can you believe it's already been an hour?
It's amazing.
Isn't it amazing? I love this show because it's just like time goes like that.
Right.
On just about every guest.
Right.
Every guest I've ever had. It's been super cool. So let me ask you this, Lindsay. I want to give you a minute and a half to say anything you want to say to Houston and to future students and to inspire people to take a chance with art, and that art is such a healing tool that it's been for you and your husband and for Brandon. His name's Brandon, right?
Yes.
And for Brandon. It's all you.
Thank you. So the first thing to
Look at right there in the camera.
Oh, hi there. The first thing to say is feel free to send a text to get involved with our organization. The phone number is 713-909-0843. And our website is colorsforhealing.org. And we'd love to have people be volunteers, people who want to participate in the classes, and anyone who wants to donate art supplies like paintbrushes, paints, canvases. We welcome all of that. And most importantly, just continue to create. Not all art is on canvas, as I'm sure many people know. Anything that we do can be creative. And when we do that, we are taking on the qualities of our higher power, the qualities of God. And I think that we're really doing beautiful work when we create.
Amen. I love it.
Thank you.
Let's key up or tee up or cue up, whatever that phrase is, Mr. Al Green. This is how great thou art.
Oh Lord, my God.
When I am in awesome wonder.
An awesome wonder. Consider all the world thy hands have made.
I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, the power throughout the universe displayed. Gosh, I wish I could sing like that.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it? I wish I could write like that.
It's gorgeous.
Then sing my soul, my Savior God to thee. That's when I start singing. How great thou art. Oh, I love you, Jesus. How great thou art. Oh, and sing my soul, my Savior God to thee.
I hope you're still listening there, Houston, because we are going through a lot of the great pictures of some of the students in the art class, a lot of their great creations. It just looks wonderful.
And when I think that God sent son, sent him to die. I scarcely can take it in that on that cross.
Look at those happy faces painting.
It's so wonderful to see
Isn't it
that.
cool?
He bled and died. Take away all my sin. Every time I realize that, then sing, yes, lift your eyes, how great thou art. Then sing, how great thou art. How great thou art.
Oh my God, I could never hit those notes, Lindsay.
Beautiful.
I could never do that.
Beautiful.
Woo! And hang on to it like that. All right, Houston, I think we're signing off in 30 seconds or so. That is the great Al Green, How Great Thou Art. You've been listening to a tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer on all of our sister stations, of course, KWWJ, Keep Walking with Jesus, KYOK, the legendary KYOK, KCOH, The Source, Aliento Radio, and Sangeet Radio. We're here every Monday from 11 to 12. You can call in 832-570-8075, and we'll see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source on Sangeet Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM and Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.